Hi, Senior High! Welcome to our virtual discussion in English for academic and professional purposes. In this session, I will discuss to you the writing styles in academic writing. Style is one of the elements of academic writing that I discussed to you in the previous lesson. The elements of academic writing are subject, tone, audience, knowledge, explicitness, purpose, and many more, which I already discussed to you in the previous lesson. There are various types of writing styles, but we will focus on four writing styles, including expository, narrative, persuasive, and descriptive. Each of these writing style is used for a specific purpose, and a single paragraph may contain not just a single writing style, but maybe a combination. A single paragraph can be a combination of an expository writing and persuasive, or a single paragraph may contain descriptive writing style and persuasive writing style. Remember that the writing style that the writer may use in a text varies depending on the intention of the writer in sharing his or her information. The first writing style that we will discuss is known as expository writing. Expository writing means that the writer tries to explain a concept or to share or impart information to the reader. Remember that expository writing is not subjective. It focuses on facts which are supported with pieces of evidence. And expository writing is usually used in textbooks, articles, recipe books, business letters, scientific texts, and to news stories, except editorial and editorial opinions. Let me show you an example of article that used expository writing style. First clear intention here is simply to expose information or to share information to the Filipino nation how many Bulacanos have themselves vaccinated with no intention to persuade the reader to have themselves vaccinated as well. Or maybe the article is intended to persuade the Filipino nation to have themselves vaccinated as well. But purely the article used expository writing style because the writer did not write any opinion on about the matter of making Filipino vaccinated, right? So we consider this as an expository writing style rather than persuasive writing. The next writing style is the descriptive writing. Descriptive writing means painting a picture of a person, place, or event with the use of words. It is often found in fiction, though it may also appear in nonfiction like memoirs, first-hand stories, travelogues, which use descriptive writing styles as well. Descriptive writing, the writer might employ literary device like imagery, metaphor, in order for the reader to understand or to picture out the words that the writer is trying to describe. Famous of all the literary device used in descriptive writing is what we call the imagery, which refers to words that create picture in a person's mind. Let me show you an example sentence. The rain is falling slowly and silently from the clouds, falling and splashing water everywhere. I sprinted outside, out into the cold. As I did, I felt the spray of rain on my face. What can you picture in the first example sentence? Well, as for me, I picture a person who is emotionally watching as the rain pours down. And as she went outside, she felt how cold the rain as it pours down on her face or on her skin. How about you? How do you picture this sentence in your mind? Another example is, my dog, my psychotic, entertaining, and energetic dog who adores running, digging, and playing, is as hyper as a child. What do you picture as you read this sentence? Well, as for me, I picture here my pet dog that wiggled his tail as he welcomed me home. How about you? How do you picture this sentence? Let me show you more examples of descriptive writing. As you read this passage, I would like you to picture in your mind what is being described by the author or by the writer. How about in this given example? What makes it a descriptive paragraph? How do you see the scenario here? If you got a picture in your mind right now, well, that means this is indeed a descriptive paragraph. Let me show you another passage. How about in this given example? How do you picture the scenario here? It is indeed a descriptive paragraph because there are a lot of descriptive words used in this passage, right? These descriptive words are the so-called adjectives. Adjective refers to a part of speech that gives a vivid description of nouns and pronouns. So every time that you use descriptive writing style, you have to employ words that describe a person, a place, or an event. It means that you have to use adjectives that will give color, that will clear the picture in the reader's mind. So that's how descriptive writing should be done. Now let us move on to the next writing style, which is the persuasive writing. Persuasive writing is the main style of writing that you will use in academic papers. When the writer uses the persuasive style, he or she is trying to convince the reader of a particular opinion or a belief or a position in a particular issue. Persuasive writing contains the opinions and biases of the writer, and as well as justifications and reasons given by the writer as evidence of the correctness of his or her position or opinion about a particular issue. Any argumentative essay you write in school should be in the persuasive writing. The examples of persuasive writing include cover letters, editorial newspaper articles, reviews of items, letter of complaints, advertisements, and letter of recommendation, which you need to persuade or to convince the reader to believe about your opinion given that it is supported with evidence that will justify your opinion. Again, you have to remember that in persuasive writing style, the main objective of the writer here is to convince or to persuade the reader to believe on his or her beliefs or opinions, provided that it will be supported with evidence to correct the justification or the opinion of the reader himself. I'll show you an example article entitled Recess Time that used persuasive writing style. In this given article entitled Recess Time, the writer tries to convince the reader that there should be an hour allotted for break time. Then the writer provided information like the advantage of doing this to persuade the reader of what he believes about. So that's how you do the persuasive writing style. When you want the reader to believe to your opinion or to your beliefs, you have to support it with evidence in order to justify or in order to convince the reader that what you believe is accurate or what you believe is something that they should believe also. Now let us move on to the fourth writing style, which is narrative. Narrative writing is used almost in every long piece of writing, whether fiction or non-fiction. When an author writes in narrative style, he or she is just trying to convey information, rather tries to construct and communicate a story complete with characters, conflict, and settings. The example of narrative writing include oral histories, novels or novellas, poetry, specifically epic sagas or poems. Narrative writing also included in short stories and anecdotes, biography and autobiography. Let me show you a biography that use narrative writing style. What makes this a narrative style of writing? It is a narrative style of writing because it uses chronological or time order from the time when Ferdinand E. Marcos born till his last contribution to the nation. It can also be an expository writing style since the writing exposes information intended only to share out information without persuading the reader of any issue. You have to bear in mind that whenever you are writing a narrative, there must be a time order or it must be chronologically arranged from the earliest time to the time being or to the present. That's how narrative writing style should be done. It must be in chronological order. Most especially when you are writing nonfiction text. Because in fiction text or like in short stories, there are different techniques on how you can narrate a story. But remember that when you're writing a nonfiction text or nonfiction paper, make sure that the time order is parallel or it starts from the earliest to the present time. So those are the 4 writing styles we can employ in academic writing. Let's recap the lesson. The 4 writing styles in academic writing are expository writing that used to explain or impart information. Next is descriptive writing, which is used to give a clear picture of a person, place, or an event. Third is persuasive writing, which is the most used writing style as it is used to convince the reader of an opinion or of a belief of the writer. And lastly, which is the narrative, that is used to tell a story with a complete character, conflict, and setting. So those are the writing styles that you will use as you write your paragraph or essay here in our subject. And bear in mind that whenever you write an essay or a paragraph, it can be a combination of writing styles, right? So the intention may be to expose and to persuade. It also to describe or to simply narrate a story. Okay, so bear in mind that you can use more than one writing style in your text or in your paragraph. That ends our session for this meeting. Thank you very much for listening. Bye.